So
Nice.
I'm getting to play.
Nice. And watching a little Auston Matthews on the side, and just your overall thought about a guy now going into the 60 goal range again, something that you've been accustomed throughout your career. And Holly, I'm just thinking, how many rule changes since 2004 if we go to, the clutching and grabbing, or pucks over the glass for a penalty, or goalie's lack of handling the puck. Everything's been geared for these guys to get into a place that you were, over 20 years ago.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't look at it that way. I mean, the game evolves, the players evolve, and it's not only Austin, but I kind of scroll through Twitter a little, not Twitter, but Instagram a little bit, just to kind of look at stuff, get entertained when I'm bored. And
we do too.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
I'm really kind of impressed that it kind of reminds me back in the day. It's like everyone's going for their 100th point or their 50th goal or their record number of points in their career so far. And, Johnny Gaudreau got 100. And I don't even know who else. I mean, it's, the guys in Florida. And I mean, it's good for the game, and it's entertaining for the fans. And that's really what it's all about.
Holly, how focused on milestones were you during your biggest goal-scoring years? Were you aware of the milestones and trying to get to them, or still focused on team play? Like, what would Matthews be going through as these sort of next milestones loom?
Well, I think it's a little bit maybe different today. I keep up on like the points and goals and assists. I have no idea, you've got to be some sort of genius to figure out how to get into the playoffs now with wild cards and whatnot, and divisions and conferences. And so I'm not really sure where the Maple Leafs stand, but I would imagine that that's got to be a part of what he's thinking about is, okay, who are we matched up against right now? Because, there's probably less than 20 games in the season to go. And, it's like, can we get to a better home ice position? And, if we keep climbing in the standings, we play a team that's maybe not as good as, being first is really, I think, big in today's game, because it's, the other teams that are right with you are really good as well. And probably it's an evenly matched. And that's what I don't like about the playoff system. It's Pittsburgh and Washington in the first round. And I mean, you're losing one of two really good, entertaining teams right off the bat. So I think it should be 1 through 16 on both sides and go from there.
Holly, take us back a little bit because, you weren't this can't-miss prospect when you first started out of Calgary. And, of course, you had the big trade, and it certainly helped Calgary win a Stanley Cup. But then you go to St. Louis, and in your first full year, you score 40 goals. And at that point, you go into the following season, and I think I can get 50. And, you get 72. I mean, at what point did you say, oh, my God, this is kind of going someplace I never thought it would go, or it actually did go where you thought it could go? Like, what was that mindset like, that discovering that you're not a 40 or 50 goal scorer, you're a 70 goal scorer? When does that happen?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you exactly how it happened, because, Brian Sutter, without Brian Sutter, I probably would have, I think I could, after doing it, I think 40 goals was pretty legitimate. There's not a chance on earth I thought of 70 or 86. And, after that season, I don't know if they still do it, but you have the end of the year meetings with the coach. And, I was going in there, and I was thinking I was going to get this big pat on the back, and wow, you're so great. We made a great trade. What a, boy, I can't wait to next year to start. And Brian Sutter looked at me and he lit into me and, told me that, I'm only scratching the surface and that you have no idea how good you can be. And he just, and as a player, you could take that one of two ways. You could go home and sulk and go get your buddy and go have some beers and go, what a jerk. I hope he gets fired. Or you could do like I did. And I looked back and I called my buddy and who would have been Chaser at that time. Right.
Yeah.
And I said, I can't believe how good this guy thinks I can be. And I went home that summer and that's all I could think about was, I'm going to do this. And it was so motivating for me. And then of course, I was very fortunate to play with, Peter Zezel, Doug Gilmore first, then Peter Zezel, then Adam Oates. And that obviously really helps when you have those guys playing with you. But, it just, and then the first thing was the opportunity. I never understood why Calgary drafted me in the first place when, I looked up and they had like 13 NHL caliber right wingers on their roster. And I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be difficult. And so I'm pretty sure that's why the trade was made, because they already had from Hawk and Lube to Joe Mullen to, Tim Hunter and Perry Berzan and Lanny McDonald. I mean, the list would go on. And so that's probably why the trade was made. And all of a sudden I went from, playing a couple games, sitting out a game, point on the second power play, not playing a regular shift all that often, to all of a sudden you're the main focal point of a team. You're the number one power play guy. They're making plays for you because of, my ability to shoot. And then, so that's also a big help. It's hard to succeed when you aren't showing any confidence. And as soon as I got to St. Louis, they said, we made this trade and we're going to make you the focal point. And that certainly helped.
The 2 years that you did score 70 or 80, you mentioned Zezel and Oatsy, and they were 25 goal scorers. You didn't have a secondary 50 or 60 goal man, did you? Not until we got Brendan. Yes. Yeah, but even those...
And that was awfully nice to have a guy like that with you as well.
Well, interesting, because where did that put the pressure on you to put the puck in the net? And, did teams now saying, hey, you take away Brett Hull, you take away everything, are teams like Boston or Tampa Bay looking at Auston and the Leafs going, take away Auston and we control the Leafs?
Well, that's like saying you could take away Ovechkin, right? You got quality players, Kuznetsov and Backstrom. You got Marner. There's other, pieces that can do it. And maybe the game goes from, 5-2 to 3-2, which, I always hated when, after games I didn't score, I would be pissed off, and people thought it was like sulking and selfish, and it really wasn't. It's my job to go and score goals and to create offense. And if I don't, maybe we lose 2-1, or maybe we have to, fend off a late power play to win 2-1. But if I would have scored, it's 3-1, and it makes the game easier for the whole team. And plus, that's really my only skill, right? So that's all I felt I could contribute. And I guess I could have worked at other parts of the game, but I really only wanted to score and create offense. So, luckily that was, I got to play a lot of my career when that was okay. And then all of a sudden, Jacques Lemaire came to the league, and it was like, oh my God, are you it's like the substitute teacher who isn't as fun as your real teacher. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing to our game? And then everyone, it's a copycat league, right? And then I signed as a free agent with Ken Hitchcock, and I mean, we won, which is incredible. But if I don't change my game, I'm out of the league. It's just you had to sacrifice offense and play that team game, that dump and chase, the chip and retrieve. Keep the puck out of the middle, safety first, funnel the puck towards the crease. I'm like, I asked Ken one day, I go, are we playing soccer or hockey? And so it was, but I mean, when you win, it sure makes it, because that was the number one thing. After I had personal success, I wanted to win a Stanley Cup, and I guarantee Auston Matthews, he wants to bring another Stanley Cup back to the Maple Leaf, and then that's when he's the hero of all time, right?
Yeah.
And so that's got to be his number one goal. And I guarantee he has the support of his teammates and the fans. So in today's game, anyone can win. The team that won in St. Louis a few years ago certainly wasn't even close to one of the best teams that franchise ever had. But it was the right team to win that year.
Yeah. So you mentioned that Brian Sutter kind of gave it to you after a very good season and pushed you to new heights. Let's say Auston Matthews goes to sit down with Sheldon Keefe after this season and says the same thing. Hey, we think there's more from you. You can do more. Would you want to see him take the advice to try to become a more well-rounded, complete guy, defensive focused? You mentioned you made some adaptations, or would you want to see him lean into the goal scoring side of things and just continue to do the thing that really makes him different and shoot it in the net?
Well, I'm pretty sure he focuses on the other aspects of a game way more than I did.
Mm-hmm.
I would lean the other way and just give him tapes of Ovechkin and just go, do what this guy does, because he is. I'm doing this TV show for ESPN called Details, and I just got a clip. We're doing Alex first, and so I just went over a myriad of goals that he was involved in this morning, and he just gets it. Like he works hard. He's in position in the offense or defensive zone, and then teams are stupid and defensemen are dumb, and we know that because that's why they play defense for the most part. And you can't